So you're ready to potty train. Welcome to the jungle. No, seriously, this is my least favorite part of parenting. I've parented 9 children through the process of potty training, and other than growing them, because I'm not a fan of pregnancy either, I like the humans at the end. I'm just not a fan of the actual growing process. Potty training is probably second tier on things that are just wretched about raising little ones. But I am going to give you 3 tips from somebody who has potty trained 9 children, because I feel like the information out there is a lot of facts and not a lot of grace. So let's give you some grace and some real practical tips that actually might help. So I'm going to go through 3 different points, and hopefully by the end of this video, you will feel confident that your child will not be going off to college in diapers. So point number 1, and this is a huge one, and this is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see, especially with first and second time parents. So if you have 1 child or 2 children, and this is the biggest one, wait until they're ready. See, I know it's hard, because maybe you have like your friend, children the same age, and their child is potty trained or potty training, and your child is nowhere near ready. That's okay, because you have different kids. You don't have the same kids. Comparison is the thief of all joy. So you don't have to hit your friend's child's milestones. You just have to hit your child's milestones. And your child may not be ready yet. And that's okay. That's all right. It's okay. Give them grace. Most children are ready somewhere between 1.5 to 3 years. Anywhere under 18 months, the child's not potty trained. The parents are potty trained. The parents have figured out the method to making sure that they can hit in the potty as opposed to anything else. And it's really heavy on the parents. But the children are really just building a ritual at that point. I wouldn't say they're truly potty trained. I would say that the parents know when to bring them potty. But the true biological response, like that true understanding of, oh, I think I need to go potty, really hits somewhere between 18 months to 3 years. And the range in there is vast. Between my 9 children, I've had some who were as early as 18 months, and I've had some that were over 3, where they were like just not really interested. And I kind of had to force my hand on it at that point, and I'll tell you about how to do that at that point, because this isn't something we are bullying our kids into. We're not pushing them to do this. Now, granted, we do not like changing diapers. Nobody does. But it isn't something that we really want to. This isn't the hill we want to die on in parenting. We need to give them grace. If they're not ready, they're not ready. And anything that we do is just going to make both them and us miserable. So wait until they're ready. The signs that you can see when they start to be ready is when you notice they're asking more questions about the toilet. You notice that they're uncomfortable in their diaper. You have them they're bringing you a diaper and wipes and saying, please change me. Those are kind of the signs and the cues that you can go, oh, a big one is if they're staying dry all night. Usually when I see them staying dry all night, I know we're in the zone. We're at least in the zone, even if we're not mentally there, biologically. They're starting to understand how to be able to hold their urine overnight. And that is at least a point that their body is starting to get ready. So those are going to be the signs that you're going to look for in order to get to that point. So the first part, remember, wait until they're ready. Give them grace. And if your first one was 1.5 and potty trained without any issues, had like 2 accidents, your second one is not going to be like your first one. And your third one, not going to be like the first or the second. Every single child is different, even within your family. So don't compare older sibling to next sibling to next sibling, because each one of them has their own body, their own biology, their own orientation with the world. So it's really important to also not hold it over your head or over their head that their sibling was doing this quicker, because it's not their fault. They have their own biological system. Now, my 4th one, he potty trained himself. He just woke up one day and was like, I'm gonna go potty. He was like 1.5 years old, and he never had accidents. It was a dream. My 4-year-old, we're so close. We're so close. And I just keep reminding myself that I have adult children who live on their own, and they've taken over all abilities of themselves at this point. And I keep reminding myself that as I'm watching this 4-year-old who's just like, I'm like, he's so close. So we've gotten rid of pull-ups. At least there's that. I'm no longer buying pull-ups, but just know that it's not always the experienced parent, and it's not always that you don't know what you're doing as a parent. Sometimes it's just that you have a child who's a little more reluctant. The second point, more is caught than taught. And this is a principle for parenting anyway. More that they're going to observe you and do the things you do far more than they're going to just listen to what you say. It's just how humans are. So I understand that 6.2 milliseconds that we get by ourselves in a bathroom before they realize that we have gone into a room and locked ourselves and they're missing out on all the fun. But if we can give up that time and let them come in and observe and see what's happening, let them flush the toilet, let them understand the whole process, that will start to at least develop the conversation and the thinking process in their head of there's a different way to do this. Because remember, from their perspective, this is all they know. From the day that they were born, all they know is you put a diaper on them and they get to go to the bathroom in it. They do not understand anything else unless they are watching you do that. So you need to make sure that they're trying to get an understanding of what is actually happening. And thinking of it from their perspective, the more ways that you can introduce them to the ways that you can go potty, the better. The more time that they observe, the more time they have on understanding, the more they're going to align that with when they go potty, they're going to be, oh, there's a different way to do this. And that will help get the wheels turning. The last thing to remember is that every child is different. And I touched on this a little bit before when you start comparing, but every child is different when it comes to wanting to go potty. Some like the little seat that's over the toilet. Some like the little separate toilet that's on the floor. Some don't want any kind of help with that. Some boys are able to pee standing up and hit the water, or like you can put Cheerios in there and you can aim for that. Some kids like the reward of an M&M. Some kids want the reward of a big toy once everything's gone. It just depends on your child. So don't get so stuck in an idea that this is what we have to do. Instead, see if it's working. See if that communication is working, and be willing to switch gears if it's not. There's a lot of different ways to be able to potty train them. And so be willing, be flexible with them, because you're not potty training you, you're potty training them. So make sure that you're really giving them the grace and the flexibility to be able to learn this skill on their own. So hopefully you can glean something out of that, and hopefully you will not be changing diapers for the rest of your life, and they won't be going off to college taking over their own diapers. Hopefully at some point you will no longer have to be investing in diapers. So if you have any additional questions about potty training, feel free to put it in the comments below, and I appreciate you watching and learning how to potty train your baby.